And now we have Jayce versus Idris.
Yep, that is going to be a fun one as well.
For the second place, both of them competed in quarters, getting over who was it, Taki Kerali and Gerinter, so another regulars in Kreve League, and I think they might have participated in top 64 qualifiers as well. So where are the player profiles? Let me just bring those on for a second. So we have Idris here, season 6 winner with Nilfgaard as a favorite faction, and Brattens, who fell out of favor recently with Nilfgaard and Slave 6 being everywhere. But yeah, we can see that he also placed 54th in January season, so pretty nice ladder results, representing Team Elder Blood.
Yeah,
and
like this Brothens here. I think that's really fun, that Idris is super loyal to the card as well, and I have a feeling that we'll be seeing a little bit of Brothens from him later today, so I think that is exciting to see. And Jayce coming in here with the Tunnel Drill as his favorite card. Nice. I wonder if he chose that before or after the nerf. But it's still a nice, I think, a very big staple of Syndicate, so I can definitely see why this card would be someone's favorite card, because really so much has been resting on the shoulders of Tunnel Drill, and it is quite fun. I mean, it's so satisfying when you make it go off, so I don't blame anyone who really enjoys Tunnel Drill, honestly.
Yes, and we see that he has pretty similar MMR and placement as Idris had, so pretty comparable results on ladder, meeting in the semifinal. And yeah, Jayce also represents Team Nova, so we have players representing different teams competing here. Yesterday in quarters we had some people without a team as well, so anyone can participate. Also, I think Kreve plans another cycle of this league for 2023. More about that will probably be said tomorrow during the final cast. And now let's move to the decks. Let's start with Idris here.
Alrighty, yeah, Brothens popping up here, I believe in the first deck, Double Cross. So we're going full on Assimilate, which is an archetype that did disappear for quite some time, but I mean, Taurus is kind of cute with the Assimilate value you can get from the second form of Taurus, so I really enjoy seeing a little bit of Assimilate. It was everywhere, then it was gone for quite some time, and it was gone so long that I'm pretty happy to see it actually return. And then we also have Royal Inspiration Knights, Patricide of Fury Warriors, and Call of Harmony with Dana.
Yeah, so Call of Harmony, as I mentioned, being brought by everyone. We've seen Patricidal Fury in action already. Royal Inspiration Knights wasn't present because people in first semi opted for Siege and River Hunter. So Royal Inspiration here, playing all the knights available. It's kind of interesting. There is even Reinhardt Odo instead of Iron Dite and Heatwave. It is opted for that extra knight. Other than that, the deck is being carried in round 1 with the Immortals and Damned Sorceress and Bronze Engines that are pretty decent. Relies on carryover. You've seen it in action. It's not a completely new deck, but with the absence of Irden in like half of the tournament decks, it gets an extra boost of power, so to say. So yeah, the card to point out here is Reinhardt Odo. Reinhardt actually got some play from Temple of Militale, but yeah, it is just decided that he's decent enough to run.
Yeah, I think it's cute. I mean, he is good in a long round. He also recently got changed a little bit, which made him a little bit different, a little bit better as well. So I think it's really fun to see this inclusion. And yeah, with the Temple of Militale, of course, also some creates maybe happening there to support the knight archetype. And also just generally the points of this deck really lies in Damsel in Distress. Also combining with the Maiden's Shield, that is usually really, really huge. So we can expect to see this deck probably on blue coin, just because Knights love control, maybe even more than you could say Siege does. Maybe. I don't know. They both do. Just NR things. Moving on to the Patricide of Fury deck. This is fairly similar to what we have seen, new warriors with Tur included. There's also the Skjordal here for a little bit of extra control, and the bronzes were no strangers to those, and of course the raid cards that you want to develop carry over. So nothing too strange here happening, just a solid deck for Skellige, which I think, yeah, it's cool to see warriors back as well.
Yeah, there is only one War of Clans in Champions Charge slotted into it, but other than that, yeah, no discard package, no compass here. Just Skjordal is out of favor with warriors, but it is decided that, well, 6-point damage is pretty decent overall, even if there are alternative that are just special cards with a comparable damage. And moving to the last list, it's Call of Harmony with relicts added. We have both Querixis and Dana there. We have poisons. Anything to point out? Is this the one? Yeah, this is the Saskia list that is not running full movement package. It only has Cat Witchers.
Yeah, it's more similar to what we've seen from Harmony before Dana was released, I would say. But yeah, cool little heat wave as well, can be very useful. And yeah, again, let's see where the Dana is going to be played. It's a really strong engine still in round 1, really plays for like 8 points of 8-point engine on deploy on the first time you put her out. So definitely something to consider playing in round 1 if you know that your opponent potentially can't answer her. Also, Saskia, of course, can carry rounds in Mysteries of Lochfane. Really, really beautiful in a longer round. But yeah, solid deck list, I think, from Idris here. Should we take a look at what his opponent Jayce is bringing to the party?
So from Idris we've seen, I think, the 4 most established factions for this season that people will be using on ladder. Like, there definitely will see some Frost from Monsters and Deathwish, but I'd expect those 4 factions. Here though, from Jayce, we see Syndicate among the top 4 factions of choice. First though, Double Cross and well, it's Renfri. Renfri is getting another round of nerfs recently, and still, Spotters, Renfri Gang, Tris, Meteor Shower. You love to see them all. And inclusion of new card. If you look at the Jayce's lineup, yeah, there is a Syndicate that ignores new cards, I thing, because yeah, you need to play Swarm, but Taurus is here, so it's a fresh Renfri deck.
Yeah, it is kind of fresh. Well, it depends on how fresh Renfri can be after we've seen her day in, day out on the ladder. But it definitely makes sense if you want to play that Taurus for double procs of pretty valuable Nilfgaard golds happening in this deck. Maybe even reaching round 1 to make sure you really get it. But I mean, the bronze core is still good. It still does what Nilfgaard bronzes do very well. Has a bit of control, has a bit of just point slam, or a lot bit of point slam really. So it's interesting to see Taurus kind of fit into Renfri. So let's see how that turns out, unless that's the ban target. I mean, Nilfgaard Renfri might still be something you consider banning.
Yeah, nobody is really hyped about Syndicate at the moment. Maybe the dex adjustment haven't been done for the new cards inclusions, and yeah, maybe you need like an extra poison in Pirate's Cove or something, but it already has most of them. But looking at the ladder results, there is not that many Syndicate players. Moving to the second deck though, it's Ursine Ritual. So Jayce decided Skellige got a new card. I don't know who Tur is. Let's just play Svolblood, because Self Wound is there, and well, if he expected Reavers, for example, River Hunters or Skellige damage, maybe that's the deck to counter it. Got Swollblood, got Knut there, so all the familiar faces, Melusine here. Well, with the change of Olgierd Immortals and River Hunters getting into the meta, the Olgierd became a staple of the deck, being that lightning rod for all the pings.
Yeah, no River Hunters though that he's facing here with this Olgierd Immortal, but I mean, it still can be a
well, I mean,
nice
in terms of a deck conclusion, it is
sure.
a choice. Other than that, I think it's pretty standard as far as self-wound deck goes. But yeah, Swollblood is a powerful card. I'm not entirely sure how it goes against Idris's lineup. But overall, while playing it, we don't see really too many extra inclusions. There is a double Drummond Berserker, of course, that provides you an extra Bear Abomination.
There's not that many extra Bear Abominations, but it is true that the value goes down after you trigger them like 2 times, and then Swollblood isn't as efficient anymore with those triggers. But I think Swollblood just generally is a card that makes self-wound very, very interesting. So I'm happy to see it here. I think Swollblood is one of the more interesting cards released.
Yes, and we've seen the tier in action as well. Might look at something else now.
Yeah, nice variety here. Then Call of Harmony is the next list that we have on the line. And there's a few things to mention here. There's the inclusion of Ihuaraquox here, pulling out, ideally, I mean, you can pull out Dana. You can pull out Querexis, which also allows you to get the deploy instantly.
Yes, that's a cute interaction of Gwent that comes unexpected to some, but yeah, it's really cute.
And then you could get Saskia as well, but Saskia does miss her deploy if she's pulled from Ihuaraquox, so she's not probably the ideal target you're actually looking for there. It is not bad by any means, but it's a bit slower than you potentially would like Saskia to be. So a couple of different things happening in this Squirtle list, but I think overall it's very exciting. I'm kind of hoping that Squirtle doesn't get banned for this next run, but we'll see.
Yeah, and the last deck I mentioned already, Pirate's Cove is there, and all your favorites are there. There is Sigiruven with Collusion, a Poison package, all the high-end golds, Professor, Jacques, Hamelfart, so all the favorites are there. Drill though, Jayce's favorite card. I keep looking, I keep scanning, and somebody abandoned his favorite. Idris was playing Bratons, but something happened with the drill. Probably just needs a bit of repair.
Jayce just said, oh, the drill is at the mechanics, and he's just waiting for it to get repaired a little bit and then holding on for hope, but still honoring its memory by selecting it as his favorite card, which I think is very fun. But yeah, like you said, this is like old kind of Syndicate. It's classic Syndicate happening. One pretty fun inclusion here is obviously pulling the strings, and there are ways for Jayce to utilize this deck to get all the different tags on the board very, very, very fast, and that means that pulling the strings can start you inking 5 power units pretty fast, and that can be a really, really powerful tool for Syndicate to utilize. Collusion, on the other hand, I don't think is actually guaranteed on anything, so it's kind of going to be a flex thing, just pulling maybe a missing gold if you're lucky, rolling it, or just a nice flexible vendor, little bird, whatever you kind of need. It's cool. I'm super curious about Syndicate without drill, and I don't think it's the deck that gets the ban. I have a hard time seeing it because of that drill nerf.
So we've seen monsters, and hopefully we'll see Syndicate, and Squirtle is up for grabs, especially with Jayce running this rent-free double cross. There is a good chance. So we got the bans.
Okay.
I hope they do not mess up the coin, because yeah, well, they know what they are doing, because usually never mind. So we got Swollblood banned. sadly, and double cross Renfrey is out from the second lineup. So Syndicate goes through. Oh wait, nah. It's Swollblod. Swollblod is banned, but this is Idris's Nilfgaard that is getting a ban. So we'll see the Renfrey as well. Interesting because we get Swollblod banned. Was it that threatening, I wonder?
I think for Idris's lineup, he really doesn't go control heavy at all. So I can definitely understand why Self-Wound is a threat, because you can't deal with Sigvald, you can't really deal with Knut that well. So it just seems like a deck that he's okay banning, because he really doesn't have tools to deal with it. So I can see it. You can compete with Harmony with points of your own. You have knights that are also just point slammy stuff, and sure, Pazur's Out of Fury has a little bit of control, but probably not enough to deal with like resurrected Sigvalds left and right with the Melusine as well. So to me, this ban does make sense. Yeah.
And now waiting for the invites to come. Players are present and bans have been done. So as soon as the invites are in, we are into the second half of today's cast. Semi-finals are ending today, and finals are happening tomorrow. Don't miss it out.
No, don't do it. Frozen ceely tells you not to miss the
Frozen ceely again.
I like the face that I had down there. That was nice. But yeah, really, don't miss the finals. It's gonna be.
And you're frozen again. So every time I'm checking for the Discord messages, it happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can take care of the Discord aspect of things, so don't worry.
But yeah,
about that.
it's settled now. So just waiting for the players.
But yeah, exciting stuff. The stakes are definitely high for this tournament. Whoever wins this series will move on to the finals and compete for a little bit of a cash prize, which is definitely not bad. A little bit of pocket money.
Coming Christmas, it's pretty nice to treat yourself for a small little present.
Like a Moomin mug.
Yeah. We have players from where Jayce, if I'm not mistaken, was with Mexican flag, and Idris from Algeria, so they're traveling to Finland for the Moomin mug.
Maybe we can buy Moomin mug. To be fair, I think they have other priorities, which is fair, but if I would be either of them, I would probably buy a Moomin mug.
Yeah, it's a decent one. Look at that.
Yeah, they might have other priorities for the cash that they could be.
Okay, now that we are waiting for the games and the invites to come, how is your enjoyment of the current new card pool? Have you had a chance to try something out?
Yeah, it's been fun, definitely seeing the new cards in action. I think design-wise, personally, I think they're very creative, and I like the route that we've gone with these double form cards. Like we got kind of more cards because there's two forms of each of these cards. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1 deal, which I think I'm very happy about personally. It's some of them are pretty chunky when it comes to like text. But it's exciting as well, figuring them out. And I think they all have a very nice place in all the different factions. They really do fit in. I think the card that I haven't seen yet is like Lilith's Omen, really. But yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think I had it played against me once, and the best implementation so far I've seen from the creative side is pulling double Insectoid out of the deck.
Yeah, because, that's what I was thinking when it was released.
It provides you with armor on those cards, so you're not killing them, and to the broken drives, but it's a bit contrived overall because you need them to survive. Like you're leaving literally 3-4 point units on the board and telling your opponent like have at it. with Skellige having like a potential to remove both in one go, it's not that prevalent on the ladder, let's put it this way. But yeah, as you mentioned, cards having like double form makes it so you can play it completely differently. Like I tried Dana in hand buff suggested by one of the viewers, so you can just throw her in round 1 and hope that she sticks.
Insane. I mean, just on deploy already, I think she gets good value. She does get, she's like an 8-point engine when on her first deploy effect, which is already really good, especially for a carrier deck. I would say like I prefer her round 1 ability. I feel like that one is ultimately stronger, but yeah, it does depend on the fact if she lives or not, but it's definitely a pretty powerful round 1 card. But yeah, do you have any favorites from the new cards?
I mean, Taurus is just a nice card to have because of the reach. I'm not sure how exciting it is. It's basically strategic withdrawal that we had as a leader ability before. So it does that and provides you. But I must say it's probably used for the like raw value at the moment, and I hope somebody finds a cuter combo, so to say, because well, it also is meta dependent overall. Maybe you can find something that you can pick up and point at your opponent 2 times that is not Stefan Skellen and removal
Exactly.
which
that
makes
seems
it
to be the staple way of using
and an
utilizing
alternative, if there is like a double toll target, you get a double Vilgefortz. But even like implementing it on Artorius is pushing it in the right direction, but at the moment I'm not entirely sure, because well, we're talking about Enslave 6 list, and it requires you to run a lot of tactics to fill provisions, so you're not that flexible. Haven't really tried the Syndicate list yet, so just Sticker is not the card that I played with, but there is a bit of problem with Swollblood, just countering it. Not everyone is running Swollblood, but I played Swollblood myself and I managed to queue a couple of times into that. They work so hard to fill the board, and then Swollblood just in one go just counters the entire gameplay. It's like playing Shiro against them 3 years ago.
Right? Yeah, it's a fun card, I think.
Yeah, so I hope the adjustments throughout the next couple of patches will be done, and decks feel like the card on its own is good and all. It's just that its place in meta is not really. And we got the invites. Okay. Took them a while to arrive. But let's switch the screen now.
Here we
also,
are,
guys,
tuning into the first one. Also, coins. Do we have coins?
So I think Jayce mentioned that he's going for second. So it's Idris on blue. Idris on blue means that, well, Harmony is always an option to take, but he has this wait, it is his NR Knights, yeah, it is his lineup. I was just taking a peek so that I don't freeze your camera. I was looking at basically the list of decks they have, and I scribbled it a bit too tiny to decipher.
Fair. I mean, to be honest, I mean, Idris does have 2 blue coins, so he needs to, if Knights go through on the first blue coin, he has to play something else on blue. So maybe Knights isn't the first Q choice, and there's a chance it's Harmony, or apparently SK. Yeah, we're going for SK and Syndicate, which is very interesting. But yeah, we
see one Warlord and a lot of bronzes for Syndicate at the moment, which is not the worst thing to happen.
But you definitely don't have ways for Syndicate really to tutor out those cold cards,
Yes.
except for Bank, and maybe you can find one with Collusion, but Collusion is not guaranteed in this list to find a gold. So ideally you see some more golds, I think. if you're
Yeah, those mulligans were not really golden though.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Well, Idris managed to, well, also keep his hand kind of bronze, but pretty decent acquisitions overall.
Yeah, having double High Lord here. I'm gonna call him High Lord.
Okay, yeah.
Saying that. now.
I'll get used to that. I know double feral bone doesn't look too bad as well, although it's not for the guaranteed value, but you also kind of need some points, so you cannot just hunt for the warlords from each feral bond.
And the really nice thing here is the fact that Idris, like typically if you're Skellige, you're definitely a bit cautious going on blue coin because there is the whole chance of outpointing. And one thing that is important to note here in Jayce's hand is he has double of pulling the strings. And if Jayce is actually able to steal these warlords away from Idris, it means Idris can't resurrect them. So if Jayce can get enough of these tags on the board quick enough, then stealing the High Lord warlords does become an option, and I think that would be a really cool play to see, but I'm not entirely sure if he does have the time. I think because Skellige is so slow, he should, but we'll see.
Yeah, but looking at potentially removal value that Idris has, he still has one primal savagery, so I'm not so sold on the tags. Maybe you get enough tags to steal a 3-point warrior if that ever hits the board, but we see that there is an Brockford Hunter now. And
I mean, you have 2 tags on both of these cards.
Yeah,
There's
okay,
Crossborders, Cut-Ups, Firesworn, and
sure.
Salamandra already on the board in 2 cards.
So is he taking it immediately?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Oh, what? Okay. Never
Decided to remove a 4P warrior that is getting pulled with the War of Clans. As I mentioned, Idris had only 1 War of Clans in his deck, so it's not like you have the means of breaking him entirely. He has enough and already has one of the Uncrate warriors in the graveyard.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I would have preferred it if Jayce actually stole the warlords, because Fukushia is looking to resurrect one and Harold is looking to resurrect one, and really these feral bonds have not been able to create more warlords, so these are the only 2 warlords that Idris actually has. So
he gets another shot at stealing one now at a price of 3.
Yeah, to me it doesn't seem worth it.
Yeah, decided not to.
You don't take one, you have to take both of them for it to actually deny anything for Idris. Instead, maybe going for the engine just because Jayce was hoping that was going to be maybe a functional engine that he could use to still win the round. Yeah.
Okay, so we see 14 or 16 point gap here. The poison needs to go down, and is the Shady Vendor enough? No?
Raffiker coming down here. And
okay, so the Blitz getting... He has 6 targets, and he has 2 Blitz on his own. So a leader... He gets 6 minus 2, so yeah, he needs to leader here. That's why I thought maybe he pays coins for the poison and plays Shady Vendor. I wasn't certain if that's enough though.
I guess depends on what the Shady Vendor rolls. Yeah, I think it could be because you have the cut-up spender. But yeah, this is the way Jayce is going to do it instead, making sure that the bleed of the Firesworn isn't too much, but yeah.
So costs him a leader charge, which might lead to a slight spender problem if he doesn't draw perfectly.
Yeah.
But overall should be still okay. Like those leader charges there for the purpose of giving you that spending and occasional reach. He gets out of round one, only one card down, which is the way to do it. So nothing tragic happened there. A bit unfortunate though, because he had coins for the Blitz, if I'm not mistaken, and just that 2 wolves were immune and evading those.
And also, I mean, you're still looking for pretty important cards when you're Jayce. There's still a lot missing. Also, not much in the graveyard for Himmelfart right now. There's only one Firesworn unit that is resurrectable. But yeah, I'm wondering about this bleed. What is Jayce hoping to get out? You gotta hope to get out pretty big things. Looking at Idris's hand, there's a lot missing, so maybe this bleed could actually pay off for Jayce.
He gets Fukusha already, right?
Yeah.
That's Fuku landing. Is he opting for... No, I don't think it's worth it to take up your range.
It's the Fukusha coming down, rain value working in Highland Warlord, which wouldn't have been resurrectable if it got stolen in round 1. But there it is, there it is. More carryover, more power for the raids to hit for Champion's Charge as well as Blood Eagle. And here comes the Himmelfart.
Yeah, as you mentioned, only one mutant maker in the graveyard, so not much in that regard. You can bounce this Eternal Fire Disciple later when rain comes down for a couple of times on him.
Yeah, these vendors may also pay off. We'll see about that. A lot of bloodthirst going on right now for Idris on the other hand, which allows for Champion's Charge to pretty much be activated all the time. And if anything from Blood Eagle requires that bloodthirst, it's also happening, like Soba, for example.
Yeah, but it's definitely not a cheap bleed for Jayce, having like Professor and the Junior in hand. Shady Vendors are nice, even after a slight nerf that they received, playing for quite a few points. And yeah, looking at it is his hands, he's basically answering the bleed with bronzes. So, as you mentioned, like the quality of he got Fukusha immediately, but other than that, he's not really stealing a lot from Idris's hand.
Power Warrior coming down there, but the profit of pulling the strings is nice. Still nice to get, so it's a cool card. And yeah, next turn he can bounce the Firesworn, but that got stopped right there with Idris playing the Power Warrior. And I think it's really nice for Idris to defend the bleed with bronzes and getting away with it.
And having access to Blood Eagle means that, well, there is a 10-point Skjordal. If you are really in need, you can pull Harald, so like anything goes.
Yeah, so and also the fact that Jayce could spend really nicely on his leader if he pulls a Jackal from his leader, but the Champion's Charge is activated and it's something you just can't really get around, but does spend a little bit. Has to kind of split the spending ideally, so if the Shady Vendor could create a spender, that would be kind of nice, but it seems like it is going for the ranged row instead.
And he takes another small one. They are great. They are great, but there is an Uncrate Warrior playing for comparable value. I don't know.
Yeah, and yeah, just boosting up this Jackal makes it even nicer for Idris to just...
Wait, did he have tags for pulling like Fukusha off the board? This is Blind Eye, so yes.
Yeah, but said that the rain would make it a 2 anyway.
Yeah, I just thought about the bigger steal, but yeah, good point. Rain is there, and well, we see this rain being fed. At the moment.
Okay, I mean, full leader coming down from
I mean, the point gap is scary considering you have a double 7-point card, but you have the removal of this Soul Spender at the moment at 12 power. Okay, so we do see Sova
Yeah, pretty big
getting
commitments coming down here
into the
from
action.
Idris. I mean, if you're Jayce, you're kind of happy about this because I think this is what you wanted from a bleed. I think you wanted to see a leader. I think you wanted to see a Sova, but still going for it is very interesting.
I'm a bit surprised after like getting leader Sova. I might have expected the end. Although maybe he is not expecting to get a professor off easily because all the targets are pretty tall. Although there is no purify, so you can float the bounty.
Okay, that's good points. Just getting the max coin carryover for the next round and trading the professor. However, I still don't think it's good that you traded it for a raider.
Trading it for the invader is definitely not it.
I don't think so. Lots of cards here to be drawn for both players. Looking pretty good for Jayce finally in terms of draws. There is all the important stuff is here now, and no bricks either. Which is very, very good.
Impressive.
And also very good for Idris here.
Yeah, Idris also managed to find tier. Okay, no Skjordal is the only thing.
Yeah, might not end up hurting too much, but here is the tier, and boof, that is a big buff on that invader. Tier really showing off here.
What is he discarding here? Do you expect to get a champion's charge? It goes.
Now, you know, there's not going to be a tall sea jackal, so that absolutely makes sense. And Horson Jr. coming down here makes a lot of sense as well, getting rid of that tier before it does.
Tier is specifically created for that interaction. There is no ways to really buff him above 9 unless you're playing like non-devotion. So yeah, perfect for that junior.
A lot of points coming down here still from the Warriors. I mean, oof, big plays. And looking at Jayce's hand, let's see what this collusion can actually do and how many tags it'll be able to benefit from. Not that many in this short of a round. I mean, Jacques is a card that Jayce is hoping to get from Vivaldi Bank before doing so. That is a huge innovator, and the point gap is looking scary right now. War of Clans also could come down here and wipe out the tags after the next play, so yeah. Have to keep those tags on board here, I think.
Yeah, so War of Clans is dealing 6 damage, so you're expecting to spend once with the Jacques. He doesn't really need... yeah, it depends. Depends how many tags you expect to survive, but 1 coin is expandable most likely. So War of Clans is not killing Jacques. He also doesn't have the...
There is a Svalbard Butcher as the only card.
And Uncreate Warrior, but I meant that the both of Brockwar Warriors got stolen, so
yeah.
There is nothing in that regard in terms of the blood thirst. So we see Uncreate Warrior, yeah. Is Harald a good boy? No.
Nah, not that good, but I like the setup for it though.
Not that good. And well, let's see the power of collusion, or power of Sigi, so to say. And there we see bronzes, which is expected when you get your golds by the round 3.
Yep. And Bloody Good Friends just seems to be the best value but there.
Sadly,
here is the final collusion, 1 point lead, but this brand is mighty big. Lots of chunky units coming down here from SK. Yeah, not a bad showing, I think, for Syndicate. Like, surprisingly nice, but perhaps the bleed trading the professor could have been a little bit different. I'm not sure. It's
like we will of course see players' hands, so it's easy to say that you are trading for nothing. But we're also seeing that Edis wasn't sure what is Jayce's plans. Maybe he has Siguruvin into collusion into a big gold and Yua. I kind of feel threatened by that, so he decided to go for the Sova there, just making it clear that you're not getting to out.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
and
now we have, well, Idris on red coin, right?
Yes, coins are swapped. Skelly get through from blue coin is...
Yes, it's a nice nice feat, especially when you know that you have to play against Squirtle later.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
are we expecting Squirtle here from Idris?
Rather than Knights, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Knights is the very blue coin designated deck, but maybe there's some special Mind Kingdoms going on, you never know. I would expect to see Squirtle from Idris and what are we gonna see from Jayce in response blue coin, so it'll probably be it is NG, I guess.
Knights. We see Knights from red coin, okay.
Classic enemies NG versus versus NR. So let's see how this works out. There are a couple of locks here for Jayce to utilize in this rent-free deck, which is quite fun.
Okay, we see golds in abundance. Not abundant, but quite a few heavy hitters in round one from both sides. Jayce is well, missing rent-free, so it doesn't really justify just spending leader fast and already playing rent-free as a carryover leader in round one, so that's something to look after.
Wondering about this Q as well from Idris, just pulling NR from red.
Maybe Temple of Military is that great that
maybe
you feel like, oh, there we go, potential defender.
Yeah, you have to be a bit careful though, because whatever you create here, there is a chance that Nilfgaard is gonna play it with the leader choice here, double cross being quite interesting.
What is this pool of cards? I guess Natalis is never that bad. Boholt with his soldiers is... well, you have... oh, he actually takes Boholt. Nice.
Okay, cool. Alright, Spotter coming down here, bleeds from the pikeman. Looking like Idris is gonna have a bit of a hard time
Look at
catching
this small little card. The Spotter at 3 power, so innocent.
Very innocent. And I mean, not having Erendites in your deck allows you to not be so aggressive about your plays, but definitely still wanting round control for Knights because of the damsel in distress. It just feels kind of bad if it gets played out, but hey, if you can defend with a 14 power
14 point Shani.
Maybe you don't have to play your damsel in distress at all.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Will the Shani buffed any further? Don't think so.
Don't think so either.
So
Final Spotter coming down. When are we going to see the pass from Idris? Or is he going to continue fighting? There's a Vandergrift for Resilience. There is the 14-point Shawnee happening eventually. Not in round 1, of course.
Yeah, I don't think anything goes into the graveyard. Yeah, that seems to be quite a slow opening from Idris. He has Immortals, he has AA, so the combo could have been assembled, but there is of course a threat of locks, so a threat of Vilgeforts, so you cannot really rely on that getting through. Is this Amnesty doing anything?
Yeah, you can
still redeem
the
Knight,
which is definitely not bad at all.
It's also steals potential shiny target. Only because the Sintra Knight is not as exciting to bring out, right? You don't get deploy, and it's not really an engine.
That's a good point. A Rune Mage is still kind of a commitment here. I think Idris is wanting to just like shorten the round while still having reach and potentially forcing Jayce to spend something more and more valuable. The longer the round, the more Triss value you can get, for example. And playing Triss twice with something like Taurus, I think seems really scary. But here is the pass from Jayce. Having that passively ticking engine, there's a bleed on Idris' side of the board. We need quite a lot to make it here.
Yeah, and then this Shani that was brought out is, well, just a 14-point play. So
I mean, I imagine you're still fairly happy going into a long round as Knights with your Damsel in Distress and with your Immortals combo, all of that. So it's going to be interesting to see how Nilfgaard can take care of that in
yeah, we're also sadly not seeing the bleed carry over here from Pikemans to the Wondergrift.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jayce felt like the gap is wide enough to force a big card, basically.
Yeah, and it looks like we're seeing a combination of Windhelm plus, let's see, AA. Into what options do we have here? We have the Knight Errants, we have the Saintrin Knight. Oh, not with the Death Blow though.
So this is a 10, but yeah, seems like he did the math and found a goal. He also has Windhelm available for leader buffing because it reaches great, right? So you're not losing your full leader.
Yep.
If he's lacking like a couple of points. That as well. That was at one point, so yeah, he goes to 6. And well, he needs to counter Redania Knight 1 point of that, and yeah, exacts this again.
Here we are moving on to round 2. This obviously means we will be seeing a long round of NR versus Nilfgaard. And I mean,
do we? I don't know. Scenario is there.
Scenario is there to have access to Damsel in Distress, which is currently in the hand. Hold on, there's an Aeromancy, so you have access to it. So. I mean, what is it called? The Maiden Shield. The Maiden Shield. So the Shani does have.
Okay, no.
Target.
Nothing. But, I kind of was maybe getting a vibes of let's bleed 2 down.
Strange. It wouldn't be that strange.
Yeah.
But I would be a little bit scared going up against Nilfgaard because he can still get points in a short round. And look at this spotter just jumping out, and something else needs to come down, and these are all kind of good cards for Nilfgaard. So maybe you're not super happy.
How many purifies are there?
In Knights there
2 purifies, so yeah, he decides to keep the all available armored cavalries here.
Yeah. Ramon plus double armored cavalry. Maybe Renfrey can remove an engine as well. Vilgefortz is there for anything super tall, which is a very nice security to have. And then Taurus playing the Triss twice seems strong. Seems very strong to play a double meteorite shower.
It's also nice for Jayce to get this bit of information of the creates that Boholt is there. And I don't know what you do with that information that your opponent playing Knights has Boholt there, but it's information nonetheless.
You're right. Okay, and here are the draws. I mean, honestly, Jayce has found everything. Renfrey's gang is also there. Yeah, look at that. Really a perfect hand, I would say, for Nilfgaard.
So the illusionists are getting like Knight Errants, which is not that bad.
The Donimir could be a problem. Definitely for Jayce, right?
You'll have to potentially waste Vilgefortz on that.
Yeah, exactly.
But then something else sticks.
Yeah.
So I think the quick exchange of engines versus locks is coming pretty soon.
Yep.
It's like no reason to basically adjust your game plan for Vilgefortz in the stall. Immortals, there are plenty targets. This shiny.
It's tempting to Velgafort. You don't have to do it yet.
Yes.
though, but you gotta be scared of that Donimir. The
But
Donimir
since,
can definitely come in from either AA or a Nehrumancy, but just a small lock for now. On another engine here.
Yeah, so a standard battle between Anar and Nilfgaard. Those locks and engines trading and trying to maybe preserve one extra lock for something more important. But yeah, we see that Peller is already activating one of the engines.
Yeah, I also like the fact that Pillar comes down early, because if there is that Donimir, if there is the whole roadblock, or for example, blocking one turn before you want to play your Vilgefortz on the Shani, then what Jayce could do is just leader and find the Pillar, which would be kind of fun. But now it's out, so that's not happening anymore.
So you're not using Ale on this, right? That's going to be too tall potentially on Immortals.
Existing, I think you don't want to, but the two cards that you're looking to tutor here is apparently Donimir.
Okay,
and,
so we get Donimir.
Maiden Shield being the next one. There is the Vilgefortz just having to come down, and a nice little squire that Idris can actually
So yeah, Jayce is probably not very happy to have to commit Vilgefortz adjusting his game plan for the defender that wasn't there, but oh well, not much you can do about that.
Still a little bit of removal potentially with the Renfree coming down. What do we think about Double Cross? Honestly, Double Cross is not looking very hot. It's looking hot if it finds the Reynard, but that's really the only card. And if it comes down from Idris soon, which it should, well, I guess Jayce is gonna lead her next turn, right? Get the Reynard. But
yeah, there is not a real point in hunting for scenario with your leader, because there is just not no means for you to create a lot of stuff. Copying NR is a nice pastime for Nilfgaard, but not really in this with this deck.
Thinking that it maybe would have made sense for Reynard to come on the board before the Damsel to kind of make Nilfgaard's double cross worse. Because this Reynard is definitely not too bad. Like, it'll still get pretty nice value here for Jayce as well. And it hasn't come out yet for Idris. I'm assuming it will very, very soon. Next turn, probably. Okay, let's see. Curse of Pride, which is Whale. Not so useful anymore. Would you take it on any of the available engines for now?
Yeah, I don't think so. Do you take it on like Reynard is cute and all, but
it's gonna get buffed though.
Yeah, it also is getting buffed, and you cannot even damage anything. Yeah, good point.
I guess it's just going to end up being the Redanian Knight unless Idris plays around it. But I think the Redanian Knight should probably be the target for.
And for the lowest provision card, he's getting what exactly from the deck? Yeah, with Shiny as well being created. I forgot about that. The Cynthia Knights are not the prime targets for illusionists to be created, because, well, that's just not enough points and not really an engine. So Shiny create, Defender create, definitely influenced the course of this round 3. And
that is a lot of points coming down from NR, very much a threat. There is still a big point threat in Jayce's hand as well, but will it be enough to commit with the points from Damsel in Distress?
Yeah,
like, look at these points, and the Vilgefortz is gone on the defender. Oof.
There is an 8 for your leader.
You have to take it now. Otherwise they
Because
won't.
yeah, that's what I'm leading towards. Like, you either take it now or maybe looking at removing Peller in the end.
Yeah, exactly. He's just saving his leader charge to get a knight errant, and the graces for the Sentry Knight as well triggered.
Yeah.
So not protecting that 8 power little Redanian knight yet, but yeah, Jayce is got to go fast soon.
So what is he hoping to hit from 4 provisions? Well, the infantry is playing for what, 9?
Yeah.
Nausicaa is playing for 10. Oh wait, no, Nausicaa. It's not any bronze, it's the lowest bronze, yeah. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So saying that Vilgefortz is just more value than a Triss.
Okay, that denies... infusion didn't happen, right? So
Yeah.
that denies the double match charge value, for example.
Okay. So deciding between the Curse of Pride. I still don't know why Curse of Pride wasn't used. I guess now it can be used on Knight Errant.
Yeah,
Unless...
denies the grace being procced, so...
Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's cool. Didn't get the slave infantry, instead has to settle for a tortoise, which isn't the best value you get from the Renfrey there. But yeah, still a nice illusionist for pretty
Yeah,
decent
activated
power.
illusionist, and even got the pocket from Reinhardt is just doing work.
He sure
But not,
is.
not really. Sadly, not really. Like a couple of more points than you'd expect from Reinhardt. That is not getting to his grace value.
Yep, Grace 9 cannot be triggered. Lots of points still happening here from Idris. Royal Inspiration sitting on 3 can still be used, and Shani working out pretty nicely from that create. Of course, she was not in the base deck, but got created, and turns out.
So 15-point Shani is pretty good.
Yeah, turns out. Okay, big Triss coming through. There is a slight point gap still. Mad charge with the Royal Inspiration still happening here. Graces to trigger, and there we go. Final points coming in here from Idris, and the Knight takes it in a long round.
Takes it by a good 20 points, while it looked pretty close after Idris played his trees, but yeah, there is a lot of hidden points in those unprogged cases, and Reinhardt was doing some work throughout the round. Shani, you just cannot log them all.
No, I can't lock them all. You want to, but not even Nilfgaard.
So yeah, this round 1 pass happened. Forced, well, basically wasted Vandergrift as well for Jayce, but overall, yeah, it didn't work out for Idris here.
Just goes to show that you kind of have to fight knights in round 1. To be able to bleed some of the key components, being Maiden Shield, being Damsel in Distress.
Oh, wait. Did I say Idris? Yeah, it was knights from him, right? So, okay.
Yeah, we're going into the next game. Right now, Idris is up 2-0 so far, but Jay still has powerful decks left. Now, we know Idris has to get through Harmony, and the coins, of course, are swapped now. So blue coin Harmony is what is going to happen from Idris, and Jayce, on the other hand, has to figure out what the best plan of countering that is. And he has either Syndicate as an option, has a Nilfgaard as an option, or Scoia'tael Mirror could be happening here.
Yeah, I think we are due one Scoia'tael Mirror throughout the semifinals, but that's like my point of view. It might be not the best queue if you want to get your other decks through as well. Maybe you start. It also depends. Some people like to get like the best matchup possible true as soon as it's available. Others will go like, I'll play my worst deck and try. If I'm not getting it through now, I'm not getting it through. Why play other games? There is no prize pool as well. The like beats of prize pool as we have on opens, where each game matters. So yeah, we see that in Jayce taking Nilfgaard again.
Yeah, I mean, this is still a big game, and this is important for Jayce to definitely hear it right, because there is a little bit of Christmas present money on the line, for sure, which is definitely worth fighting for. So I think Jayce is definitely trying to get the deck through that will be the most likely to win. Now, nice blue coin situation here for Scoia'tael, being able to utilize this Curse Scroll to tutor whatever card is missing. Call of the Forest also being very, very helpful. Having access to it for Scoia'tael is good. Here comes the Saskia, and that's going to be pretty difficult to fight against in a long round. But let's see what Jayce can do with these bronzes from Nilfgaard. They are still fairly powerful, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah, as we mentioned during the deck review, this Saskia might have unexpectedly for you went front row, but yeah, the package that Idris is running is a bit different from standard movement ST. So there are different elves and different Dryads in play. We see the Dryad fledglings are being played instead of Dryad matrons, and he has Swordmasters instead of the sentries here. So yeah, Saskia getting to work. Paired dwarves are kind of nice because, well, you don't block any further tags. Sometimes the hand becomes a bit too complicated to queue correctly onto the board from Harmony because, well, you don't know what next Saskia pool will be, which tag do you commit on board now, which one are you waiting for later.
That's right, here comes a nice little poison, Dryad tag as well on the board. Now the elf tag is an inclusion, so pretty nice hand, I think, for Idris to really make sure this works out.
That's a way to purify. We also have an interesting slave infantry here behind the shield.
That is right. Still definitely reach available for Jayce to go for.
Yeah, so what is his stack situation? He has Elf, Dwarf and Dryad, plays Human now, but he can remove Human for late. Oh wait, his version doesn't run double. I think it was Saltis who ran double Human.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
alright,
so
still ahead with the Renfri's gang coming in here. Big cards that Jayce has to play eventually. I mean, the Illusionist isn't active. The Armored Cavalry isn't doing too much, so we're looking at pretty big commitments if Jayce wants to take this round, while Idris really nicely is able to just play Saskia and bronzes, really, which is the ideal way, I think, for Scoia'tael to secure a round. But Cavalry coming down on this Chameleon that would be getting carryover later, so Jayce still has one turn to decide.
Actually blocking the Witcher tag, which is not a bad tag to block, honestly, because there was another Cat Witcher and we see that there was a Cat Witcher in hand.
Okay, Elise coming down here as well for Jayce, so definitely showing that he's willing to commit. But there will be the Beast tag coming out for Saskia.
Yes, so instead of this Chameleon being the Beast as it was intended to be, he's a Witcher, which allows one of the Anterians. So maybe another Chameleon jumping out. Let's see.
Yeah,
blocking this Chameleon didn't really matter that much in terms of how many procs, because there is only one engine, right? No, two engines. Okay, with two maybe it was decent enough already, but maybe blocking the Cat Witcher is an extra bonus. So
Yeah, I mean, I think what Jayce had to do is like if he still stays in the round, he kind of has to go for the Alba Armored Cavalry before he gets too committal. Also did decide to leader, which yeah, getting an engine is not the worst, especially because the Squirtle golds that you copy may not be something you're looking for anyway. So Cat Witcher is a pretty nice pull for double cross, I think. Also allows for the Renfree to come down, so we're gonna see. Maybe even it's time for Renfree after this, but we are of course. Oh yeah, I think.
okay, so it is Torres coming down, searching for the targets. Let's see what was targeted. Cheap bronzes.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, all three of them. So 21-point Torres is nothing to sneeze at.
Absolutely not. That is a way to win on even.
Considering you also spent your poisons already.
Poison. Alright, still Purify value coming down on this Chameleon. Definitely not bad. Of course, proccing the tag of the Lake Guardian Dusk aspect, which is sitting nicely there in hand. And it's a big commitment for Jayce. I think Jayce has to win on even here, really, for this commitment to be really worth it. But going for the Renfree, to me, it's looking like he's definitely willing to do so.
Yeah. Goes for Renfree, gets well, yeah, the Curse of Sloth is the one that got recently changed, right? The one that now only shows you 3 cards, so it doesn't get a free pass on the entire deck. Yep. That's what I was checking.
Alright, let's see here.
Clears the deck. Well, prefers to keep those recent additions to Nilfgaarden army in Squirtle units, which is funny.
And here is the Chameleon. Now it has the Relict tag. Cat Witcher being enough here. And yeah, let's see. Saskia does have... No, it doesn't have the Beast tag anymore, so nothing coming out from Saskia. But... still means that Jayce has to commit another card. And will he spend the Curse of the Sloth leader here to play the Illusionist? Because if he doesn't do that, then the Curse of Sloth line is very much closed.
If he drops Illusionist, it's only playing for what, 6 points? And will it be enough with the Cat Witcher jumping?
Let's see.
No, Saskia
other one. Saskia doesn't do anything.
Doesn't do anything, so it must be enough, right? Because it pinks another time.
Passive as well.
Yeah, that's what I was meaning by 6. Yep, and he gets another pink, and that's actually a 7-point gap here.
Okay,
so
okay, that's nice.
Justified from Jayce overall. He got the result he wanted.
Yep, I think so.
Yeah. He gets to bleed out scenario, but well, this is a good hand to bleed with cheap bronzes. At the same time, you kind of are missing Vilgefort's Ramon. Okay, gets Rune Mage.
Okay, and there is the mulligan on the Corexes as well. Just looking maybe for Harmony engines to make sure Idris can actually trigger this scenario. There's the leader as well that hasn't been played. So yeah, it looks like pretty nice, cheap ways for Jayce to bleed Idris. However, the shorter round 3 gets, the worse the Triss value also gets. So
yes,
it's a little bit like counterproductive depending on how much you can bleed out. I think if Jayce manages to bleed out this whole hand, it's looking alright. If you find like Vilgefortz, if you find Ramon, still can do a lot with the Nausicaa Sergeant.
Yeah, I like the Quiraxis mulligan. Seemed like a target to combine with your leader for like explosive points in a short round. So he will be targeting the lines that preserve leader for him, but also we've seen that Jayce saw that Quiraxis in deck, there is no tutor for it, so he might take it reasonably slow here.
Yeah, I like this engine coming down here. The matron is kind of cute to add for, like you said, kind of slow points, but they are still happening. Rope is also happening here, but there is the vitality.
Okay, sure. Maybe it was intended to not put a big spotter up for the heat wave immediately. Look, this is a slowly growing soldier. Let him grow.
Yeah, he's taking his time. He's sitting there in the tree, just waiting a little bit. Also, this Cat Witcher isn't too bad. You're just playing on both rows. It can actually, gets value wherever it jumps next to that matron, ideally.
Do we see Curse of Sloth into, what, Wilgefortz? Because Ramon doesn't really do anything here.
It could be fair. It could be fair to go for it, but then you really have to hope that it works.
Yeah,
out,
goes for it. It just looked that he didn't really.
Ooh. Okay. There is a.
Okay, that's a line.
So Slave Driver comes down instead, and yeah.
Wait.
Spotter.
Was the Witcher position good? Should have been played into another row, right?
Yeah, if you intend on playing Triss, then...
And I would assume that he is intending to play Triss.
Yeah.
Because, well, round gets a bit too short for her to get any value. But what is the point gap? 13. Okay, there are Cat Witcher points as well. But you just have to play Triss.
It's just on the other hand, later.
No, it's not better. It was it was still more points to keep the Cat Witcher front.
Will be coming down nicely balanced here between the heat wave. Maybe a couple of points missing there with the Cat Witcher position on the first one, because this means that heat wave is actually not
enough. It's went. It goes exactly as Jayce could have hoped for. Okay, he didn't get Quiraxis as well, but well, it's getting leader. Now Quiraxis is only combinable with Dana.
Their Quiraxis it has been found, but the Ramon into the Nausicaa Sergeant is pretty big too. That's pretty big. I'm wondering, will there be a Wilgefortz? Wilgefortz would definitely be a nice addition.
Dana is acquired.
Yep.
And well, combined with Quiraxis is not nice points, but you mentioned Wilgefortz that we can. Yeah, this illusionist is like 5-6 points. Okay, the lock is
the lock works.
Doing the job. Yeah. There are not that many tags for Dana to buff as well, so it is looking like Jayce's game, right? I'm not imagining things. He has like 24 points coming there.
The Ramon is definitely clutch finding in that hand, along with the Nausicaa Sergeant. Really good find for Jayce here.
A matter of 1 point in second round, forcing that.
Yeah, imagine that was close. Maybe it was all calculated by Jayce. In that case, very impressive bleed, really managing to get everything out. And there is the last Nausicaa Sergeant sealing the deal. We are going into the next game. Currently, Jayce is winning a game. So we have a 2-1.
Yeah, Jayce is on a mission to do a reverse sweep here, and phase 1 is a success. So prologue has been played. Let's see if he triggers the chapters now. This is a win with double cross, leaves Syndicate and Call of Harmony for him. So we're closing step by step to that Squirtle Harmony mirror. It's also interesting because Jayce is playing Ihuraquax in his relics list. So
wanna see
what
that.
will
I
he
wanna see
pull
what he
out?
play.
Is the question. Will
Yep.
he risk the horseplay or maybe just mulligan it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it could end up with showing us some really cute stuff. I like the combo in itself, the Ihuraquax combination with either Dana or Corexis, or the other horse.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna see if we get that to happen. Let's see. Eaters on the other hand, yeah. Now it's Scoia'tael, but from red coin, I believe.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
just
which is
on blue coin, so
not
red coin.
ideal considering you're losing the advantage of playing Cursed Scroll. So yeah, Jayce could definitely
let's see.
come in
And
with the Scoia'tael here.
I would expect this over Syndicate on blue from him, right?
Yeah, utilizing the tactical advantage over Cursed Scroll in this case.
It seems to be worth it because leaving yourself without that like consistency might lead. Actually take Syndicate first.
Okay. Just saying that Syndicate from red is too difficult. I can see it. I can see Syndicate definitely struggle in round 1, which I think Syndicate needs to win round 1.
Maybe five extra points is what he's hoping for. Can rely on poisons, although yeah, the big units are usually, especially with no movement engines,
yeah,
it's coming a bit slower.
I'm interested in the pulling the strings mulligan. They just seem like really good cards to have in terms of tempo and denying engines from Scoia'tael, but perhaps he's saying one now and one later, saving the good stuff for later rounds.
Yeah. Okay, so we see a standard Syndicate opening, so to say. The disciples, after whatever buff, whenever they received that last buff, were always a Word Inclusion plus the Firesworn tag plus Hemelfart combinations, allowing them to really shine, so nice to see.
Yeah, definitely.
And wait, what is happening? Yeah, the tag. I got confused by this last time as well, because this is not what Syndicate usually does. This is like a bank play, show the deck.
Yeah, that's true. And speaking of tags, Little Bird does go for the Salamandra tag, which makes sense since no Salamander cards in Jayce's hand here. And here is the first poison coming down on a pretty tall, or eventually tall engine.
It's also,
I'm curious to see if Syndicate keeps up here.
Yeah, it's also not removing a unique tag, so you are fine with Raising Dryad. It's not reactivating Harmonies, it's not reactivating Saskia on that tag, since there is a young Dryad as well. So let's see. Witcher comes down.
This is really good timing for the Percival, because now there is a poison on the board from Fledgling, and pulling the strings doesn't have enough tags for this to be stolen. Also, it's 2 engines in 1 turn, so you gotta imagine, I think in order for Syndicate to stay in the game here, we're looking at something like a Horson coming down here, I think.
Yeah, that's a good call.
But why is it going melee? Why is everything going melee? I know that you're playing around the Cat Witcher, but at the same time, the Fire Disciple might be a spender that you want to utilize to some extent.
Yeah, it also... He still, has 3 spots there after the usage of TA, but... yeah, you can block the pulling the strings if you need to steal something from the front row.
Yeah.
You also have 2 roll-locked Shady Vendors. So I guess he plans to either not spend with the Disciple or play those back row.
Little Bird available, so you're saying, it's fine. Little Bird's not going anywhere with open deck lists, and that's why you can deny Cat Witcher value for now. Yeah, okay. But yeah, as long as you don't block the steal on the melee row, because what I'm guessing Jayce wants to do is steal the Cat Witcher, which is doable Next turn. Next turn.
3. Yeah. So he's all set for that, and since there is no Matron or Sentry to buff the Scat Witcher, there is no real way to do that at all, right?
Yep.
Unless he goes for like Vitality from Ida.
Ooh, that would be an interesting play. We do see Call of the Forest coming down here,
Goes
but
for...
not on. Yes, not on the Vitality. It would be kind of cute to.
But maybe you want that for like a Purify because there are still poisons.
Yeah,
so.
the Chameleon being really nice here into Junior's reach. I would imagine Jayce does take care of it, and also uses his tactical advantage.
Are you greedy enough for 1 coin to allow opponent to stay in the round longer? No. Okay, that's nice to see.
Yeah.
And I guess one of the tokens is getting buffed here. He actually spends.
Spends anti-A's? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so Idris definitely has a few cards he wouldn't mind saving for the next round.
Yeah, now it's starting to look for Jayce like you don't have coins for the benders.
Yeah,
you have to spend something pretty big. But I think against Squirtle, I think you have to. I don't think you can give up this round. It's very scary with mysteries in a long round.
The fee is too, right? So he could have kept money for the melee Shady Vendor.
Yeah, by not spending on Little Bird.
Yeah, if he doesn't spend at the same time. He kind of wanted to do the maximum point output. Maybe forcing Idris out last turn.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's interesting. Now we see Hamelfart played and Shady Vendors are activated. Also the point gap is huge. Cat Witcher pinks next turn. Which...
Absolutely. But Idris still playing, saying that he has the reach, willing to commit perhaps the Dusk aspect there. Yes. Makes sense. But a nice Shady Vendor, I think, here for Jayce to take care of the round. I think after that Shady Vendor comes down, that's gonna be the end of the round, I believe. Saskia
is he going for a kill on a treant here? No, goes back row.
Pulling the strings is a really, really cute play here. Let's see. What is it pulling?
There is a 4 and a 5, so...
Yeah.
Okay, takes the door.
Not enough tax for the 5, I believe.
Yeah, I wasn't counting. I was just checking if there is like a ladder that you can pick from. Okay, so went for the 4, and that seals it. Well, cost him a junior,
and which
is quite reliable at removing one of the harmony things at 9 damage, totally 9 damage, and yeah, Cyrus is also gone, so not the cheapest, while well, it is committed Whipping Willow, Percival, so some of the pieces that harmony relies on.
Okay, doesn't take the last mulligan here on the Mutants Maker, maybe just wants to keep the hand bleedable. Doesn't want to commit anything too much, which makes sense. Because you want, ideally, a short round, you want your Jacques. You want to play your Siggy in round 3 and hope to bleed out enough in the process.
Well, this trade created him a bit of carryover, but I don't expect him to be satisfied with this exchange rate.
No.
So
yeah, the mysteries is what you're looking to get out, ideally.
So drops a leader charge as well.
Efficient spender for whatever comes out of Shady Vendor here. Also, let's see, how many tags do we have? 4 tags. So if Shady Vendor would have created a pulling the strings, that engine could have been yoinked.
Yeah, that's
really cool.
A good point, yeah.
but didn't hit it.
Didn't hit it. Well, didn't get some extra coins. So now then, this is already something that you might be happy about pulling out of your opponent's hand. So the Purify coming in clutch here, right?
Yes, there it is on the melee row.
An extra point from the Swordmaster as well, pushing Idris ahead.
The one turn poison was possible if Jayce just went for the fail experiment first and held it for a turn and let Dana live, which would have been better than now she's still
Ida can do the offensive Purify, right? So
yeah, I mean at this point it would really hurt for Jayce to pass. So I think it makes sense to go all out here.
Yeah, we see all in here. Not all in. He still goes to a third round and has cards. Misses gold here.
The utilization of the collusion as well with Siggy, because that's just not going to be super good in a short round after all. I mean, the thing with this deck is it can get a lot of tags on the board in a short round, but once it's been going on for this long, it's just even better to spend it now and hope that you win the short round with Jacques and I guess Professor is still left. And of course a Pirate's Cove charge to keep spending. And this is looking good for Jayce. The point gap is huge. And there, Idris was greeting this scenario, not playing it out immediately. Now it has to come out along with the Dusk aspect.
Is it enough with Dusk aspect? No, there is not enough engine value on the board to carry, so 13 plus...
there is the bleed as well.
Create,
Bloody Good Friends doing some work here.
Yep. But even without it, I'm pretty sure. He does the he does the math and commits. Oh wait, for some reason I was expecting this to be a second chapter, but yeah.
I was wondering if Dusk aspect was alone enough, but yeah, I suppose not. Needed to trigger the whole deal.
Yeah, gets ahead only by 7, so...
Okay, I mean, this is looking good for Jayce, I would say. He just needs to find his golds, basically, and not brick the King of Beggars. That's
there is literal Quaraxis in Idris's deck, which is feeling lonely. That's why you need to play Dopplers with him. Just a secondary target.
All right, are we going to see Professor or Bank?
Yes.
Idris pulling the perfect hand here. Sorry, Jayce.
Yes.
Idris, on the other hand, is not. But not that there was an amazing hand for Idris to play anyway.
So, yeah. Okay, we have a forfeit here. After he sees first gold hitting the board, there is
makes sense because
nothing really play for.
Yeah. Idris, it's open deck list. Idris knows that is enough.
Okay, so it's another decider.
We've been at this for long, and the competitors, they're not showing any signs of slowing down either. We have another series that comes down to a very dramatic last game, and it's gonna be Squirtle versus Squirtle. Yay!
Yes, so mirror is how we end the semifinals phase of the tournament. Interesting. As I mentioned, this Ichorquax is a sleeper agent potentially. Let's see what he pulls and how he influences the flow of the rounds. If he's getting committed like early, maybe Jayce feels like he takes a shot and keeps his good cards in hand, for example. So he's depriving Idris from one of his like finishers, so to say. Yeah, other than that, the decks should be pretty comparable. Like a couple of choices in bronzes is different, but overall.
Yeah, and a lot does come down to RNG when it comes to mirrors. Whoever draws. And that's why I would say that whoever is on blue coin is slightly favored. It doesn't mean it doesn't by any means define the game. But having access to that curse scroll is super helpful when you're looking for that Saskia. Because if you have a Saskia, your opponent doesn't have a Saskia, pretty hard to compete. And so far, no Saskia for Jayce and no Heroic either. So
yes.
1 mulligan left. We'll see what happens.
And it's gonna be a chameleon. Okay,
Yeah.
so...
I mean, Jayce knew this when he was queuing Syndicate, but he just said that Syndicate has no chance going on a red coin against Harmony, and Harmony Mirror definitely has a chance. So I really like Jayce's queuing decisions here. Too bad that this opening hand is definitely not what you love to see, but perhaps he can keep up at least and shorten the round enough and maybe save valuable resources for later. Potentially Aegis doesn't even have to commit the Saskia and might commit it a little bit too early. So
yeah, so let's see. So Jayce opening with the beast definitely sends a message that there is no immediate attempt at win on even, especially like with you knowing that you have this curse scroll. So both players opt, some voluntarily, others not, to not use Saskia.
I'm wondering about like the Dana as well. Like neither player is really using Dana here, perhaps being scared of poison, which makes sense.
I was thinking about it. I even checked if Iris had the heat wave. He indeed does. So from Jayce's point of view, it potentially is definitely not definitely.
Yeah.
It's just too risky to play her for 15-16 points, whatever he lands with the carryover, versus just having a reliable big finisher and combo potentially with Quiraxis as well.
On the other hand, was pretty safe to play his Dana for
yes,
a
but
lot of carryover.
I think everyone is playing it. How do you say? Not the way it is intended, but let's say that the meta is not explored completely, so people adjusted their playstyles for like points, but maybe there is a sneaky situations where if you know that your Dana is not getting removed, you just play it for the full...
It was actually very likely that it doesn't get removed. We can see Jayce's hand, and we know that he actually has access to 3 poisons, but Idris had the Purify as well. So he could have purified a poison on Dana, and then it's kind of unlikely for Jayce to actually have 3 poisons, which he does. But it would be fairly safe.
Yeah.
I think if I was Idris, I probably would have done it, which wasn't a good idea because there is 3 poisons from Jayce, but I think it would have been tempting. I'm sure Idris thought about it.
Yeah. It is definitely like a route to explore, especially deeper into the season and further competitive seasons that are coming in 2023. So maybe you need to go and create a guide so that everyone follows this carryover Dana instead of point slam Dana.
I would always go for carryover Dana. I just need to play it. I need to play a little bit more. Maybe I'll notice that I'm totally in the wrong and it's just too risky and there's too many ways to remove her. But on ladder, I would always go for carryover Dana if I have her in round 1.
Okay, so there is a juicy poison target for Jayce. Juicy meaning, well, it's good enough. It's a card that you don't feel bad about poisoning.
And honestly, for Jayce, there's still another chameleon to be played, while for Idris, we're getting into territory where this Dana isn't looking as good anymore to play in round 1, and neither is the Mysteries of Loch Fane. So here comes, of course, the Weeping Willow, but it does have an order ability, meaning that
it's slow.
to click it, but
and 2 of your dryads are also on the board, so you cannot fake a poison, maybe forcing opponent out. So it just plays it.
So this chameleon, though, it's what are the tags? We have beast and we have human. So this is actually good enough for Jayce to threaten a win on even, or bleed out a very valuable. Look at that chameleon snipe as well. Like, oof,
Yes.
it's looking very
It
nice
was
for Jayce.
another bounce. He had some of the chameleons just going out too young. Not
Yes,
fulfilling, not fulfilling the prophecy. Yeah, having this sentry on the board is also helping for a couple of points. So
Yeah.
it is a pass, right? No. Ooh, spicy. And well, yeah, he was keeping that in mind while playing Weeping Willow, that he might opt into this line. Interesting.
Beast tag, dragon tag, relic immediately triggering
We
these.
talked about it, and players immediately go into the carry over Dana plays.
Definitely not worth it if it would have come down earlier.
Maybe a bit too late
I
for
mean,
that.
have you ever seen a mirror this mirrory?
Yeah.
Players having like the exact same cards in hand at the exact same time of the game. This is interestingly enough, it was Jayce's round to win, I think, after Idris decided not to use the scroll for anything more valuable, which is very understandable, because then you play your Saskia and your opponent doesn't, they may not win the round, which is a good thing, but also they can defend the bleed with a Saskia. So
yeah, that's a decision to make, because from the other point of view, they potentially didn't thin their deck enough and didn't find the cards. So here we see, though, Saskia finally gets some game time, pulling the human. So
I mean, Jayce is doing such a value bleed here, though.
yeah.
All the cards in Idris's hand are nice for Jayce to see, even if he doesn't see Mysteries of Lockfane.
You cannot also hero pass, because even if you know that the last card is Lockfane, it's dropping for like 10 points, and the leader combines
Plus the leader. Yeah, exactly. So I would imagine the dwarf is going to trade as well for another card, and it's going to be the heat wave, which is quite useful, meaning that your scenario is safe.
Yes, Jayce getting into himself into those situations again and again, the third game in a row, getting some value of his bleeds during the last 3 games now. So yeah, both
Jayce
players
has a lot left as well, but hasn't thinned from Saskia. So it's going to be interesting to see, like, there could be a situation where we have Lockfane and also Idris finding here it is, the Lake Guardian.
Yeah, the Quaraxis is there though, so that's...
Yeah. But still, I mean, there is another Harmony Engine to trigger the Sunari, and of course you do have Dana as well.
Yeah,
but
he has
honestly,
leader as well, yep. So
Jayce is missing a lot. Missing the 15-point Lake Guardian Dusk aspect that's sitting there. No Saskia either, which kind of hurts. So it's a fairly even round.
So we get scenario chapter 1 activated by the gnome. Percival is about to get a lot of I don't know, growing in a short time. A boot camp of sorts.
Yeah. Alright,
everything is getting
a machine tag or an elf coming down here. Gotta be the chariot.
You can take machine and play it front row, right? Because of the armor. Yes, so goes
Here
for
it
that.
is. This is like very close. Idris being able to thin with the Saskia, finding the like Guardian Dusk aspect. Like, Idris played every single important card in this game, while looking at Jayce's deck, Saskia is left, Ihuaraquax is left, Lake Guardian is left, and Decree is left. That's a lot that he didn't get to play, and still made it to this position where he was able to do a value bleed. But perhaps this round 3 hand needs to be slightly better,
so
or
gets
is
the
Correx is enough.
gets the beast here.
Harmony Engine, which is not bad.
Considering there is a couple of triggers incoming, so hunting for what, a dwarf here?
Let's see.
Elves.
No
Did
dwarves,
he?
only elves, but
He
that's
didn't
a new
have
track.
elves, right?
Yeah, that's fine. That's
So
fine.
a 5-point card that triggers a lot of harmony is quite useful.
But the Elven Wardens are getting the boost a little bit too late, so it doesn't count.
Yes.
For it, but very, very close game.
This is a close 15-point gap, a lot of engines on the board, and yeah, we see, as you mentioned, he just didn't find enough. One cat Witcher traded for this big bird, and he would have been all settled. So a lot of work done by Jayce, and that's a nice effort, but sadly short of 3 points. And well, it comes down to the thing that you mentioned, with not finding like Saskia versus your opponent also not finding it, but in the end Idris managed to tin a card from it in round 2 at least. So
yeah, that may have helped there. Was it? No, I don't think the Dusk aspect was actually the last mulligan. But it was intense. I was very excited about that game. I love games where you look at it, you're like, oh, is it gonna go this way? Is it gonna go that way?
Yes.
Who's actually gonna take it? And yeah, really fun way to end the series.
Yeah, it seemed like Jayce had it with the Quaraxis leader combo, but and Percival is a decent card that got buffed to the levels more or less of the Dusk aspect, right? But not enough. They traded cat Witchers, point might have narrowed, but in the end just didn't reach.
There were some creates, I think, there as well. Like the second create was kind of a low roll, like a 4-point card, and he lost by what, 3? So I think there would be some creates that would have saved Jayce there as well. So really, really, really tight game and series overall. But huge congrats to Idris, who will be playing in the finals tomorrow.
Idris started the series well. In the end, the Harmony deck proved to be harder to get through, but managed to prevent the reverse sweep and makes it to the final where he meets. Let me pull the bracket on. So there it is. We have the final happening tomorrow on I need to check if it's Lionheart's or Aria's channel, but anyway, 7 p.m. CEST, and I repeat CEST. It was planned to be, so
that is CST. Keep that in mind. It's not a time zone that anyone is in right now, but it is the time zone that this tournament is in. So keep that in mind. But tune into the finals. It would be 1 hour later CET.
Yes. So nice games today, and as a reminder, there is the prize pool of the final for the first and second place. Of course, everyone wants a Discord roll and premium keks and meteorite powder, but there is also a monetary bonus, so people gonna be playing some serious Gwent tomorrow.
Yeah, the stakes are high and it's gonna be a good time, I'm sure. So definitely tune in for a cozy Sunday series. I think a great way to end the weekend for any Gwent fan. So long journeys for these players throughout the whole entirety of Kreve League, and the grand finale is tomorrow.
Yes. And nice organization from Team Kreve as well, because the time zones difference makes them maybe organize some of it and create the matches. You still need to be there to communicate with players. So Lemon, Flo, and everyone else involved, and also Salty, the player, good job. It was a pleasure to participate in the cast, and I will be watching the final tomorrow, and potentially considering the the next season of Kreve League can come in. I'm not sure if it's January, February, but Lemon will clear that in chat. It's nice to have community tournaments, especially with the news of like less competitive official Gwent happening. It's nice to see for teams to do the work and to create that maybe somewhat missing part of the Gwent. And yeah, thanks for coming as well. It was nice to cast. Usually
Yeah, it was really fun.
do the live casting on stream like while the events are happening, but you still tend to get distracted by the chat, so it was a pleasure to cast alongside you.
Yeah, I agree. It was very fun. We were. Oh, that's another thing when you end the stream.
Yes, so I have to wait 15 minutes without clicking stop streaming, right?
Yes, exactly.
But,
and then you can.
Yeah.
I made that mistake before, so.
Yeah, I'm aware of that because I think Paya was streaming some of his queries or something, and it ended, and everyone was like, "Where is it now?"